Would you like a Minecraft 1.16 survival skeleton farm that doesn't get jammed up with any other mobs, so gives you pure skeleton drops? I'm going to show you how to do it right now, block by block. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to another episode from me, Avomance, in my Minecraft 1.16 Nether Update Farm tutorial series. Long series title, Great Farms. Today, we are after skeletons, but we're not going to do it in the overworld. We're going to do a fancy schmancy one through that portal in the background in the Nether. Let's crack on. We're through to the Nether, but we don't want to make our skeleton farm here. There are a few problems with it. One, it's entirely the wrong biome, and two, we're going to get really lousy efficiency. So we want to get ourselves onto the Nether roof. I'm not going to show you how to do that now, so as this tutorial doesn't get too long. But I do have a short tutorial that is going to tell you how to do it really easily. Link is in the description below. Go and have a watch of that and you'll be on the Nether roof before you know it. We are through to the Nether, and I've got another portal there with bone blocks in the corners because we're making a skeleton farm, for goodness sake. It just makes sense. So, should we actually get on and make it? First thing we need to do is find a soul sand valley. That is where the skeletons are at. Couple of ways in which you can do that. The first is to type out locate biome and then a space and press S and O. That brings you Soul Sand Valley up. Click on it and press enter. That is how far the Soul Sand Valley is away, 127 blocks. So actually quite close. But can you believe the purists of the game reckon that's cheating? So I've got another method. Hit F3 and you will see you actually have the biome that you're standing in displayed right there. I'm currently in the Nether Wastes. If I go for a bit of a wander around, that will change and I can keep wandering until I find the Soul Sand Valley. Exactly like that, one Soul Sand Valley, and you can see that the sky has gone like a bluey grey colour too. So if you don't like your F3 screen up, you can just wander around until the sky changes and then just check if you're right. Everything you need to make is in this chest. Just pause the video and take a note of what it is you require. The leaves and the stone slabs, that's how many stacks of that product you need, not how many you need. Everything else is the exact right number. These two at the bottom here, they are completely optional for decoration. I've marked out an area there with soul torches that is entirely within the Soul Sand Valley. It's absolutely critical that this entire farm is within the Soul Sand Valley, otherwise it just ain't gonna work. Come to the middle of your Soul Sand Valley area that you know absolutely is Soul Sand Valley. I cannot stress enough, it has to be Soul Sand Valley. And get yourself 3 blocks of redstone and place them 1, 2 and 3. And then on one side of those redstone, I want you to go out 10 in that direction, and on the other side I want you to go out 11 in that direction, 3 wide, like that. One small completed platform later, and you need to get yourself a powered rail. Pick one side, doesn't matter which side, and on one of these redstone blocks place a powered rail and then come out 2 more on either side. Then get normal rails and go all the way to the end. Flip over 2 parts, get 2 more powered rails, get yourself warped planks, because I'm using warped planks because I can, and you need some carpet on top of that, otherwise it is spawnable. Get a lever and bash it on there and turn it on. Leave it like that, and then come up to the other end with a rail and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to the end 9 and around, and flip all the way back until you get to the level of that powered rail. Switch to your powered rails, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch to your normal rails, go all the way to the end, flip around the corner, back to the normal powered rails, 5 more, and then finally go all the way off to the end. Come down 1 and 2 like that. We're going to put in a really easy small collection system. So come 1 block away from the end of the rail there and put 1 block there and then another block there. You can retrieve that block. Get a powered rail there, a powered rail there, and a powered rail there. And then get a double chest underneath the gap here, 1 and 2. Put hoppers into both of those gaps. Then get another block, come out the side, step it up, take that one back because you can keep that one as well. Put a powered rail there and 2 normal rails there and there. Then get another lever, put a lever on the back end of that and flip that on. That powers that one. Come to the bottom of this, flip that on. That powers that. That is now a completed system, and we're going to pop a minecart on hopper there later that will do all of our collection for us. Remember to put a carpet on top of that block because that is a spawnable block without it. Now this farm only takes a stack of magma blocks and you should be able to farm those out fairly easily just wandering around the nether. However, if you don't want to and you want to use a farm, because once they're built, farms are so much less effort, they're good for lazy people, then there is a really great magma farm in the description below that you can click on and it will take you straight to it. Come to the end of your platform and not on the very end block, and that's the one with the curve in the rail, but the one next to it, place a magma block and do a row of 20 magma blocks that should take you all the way to the end here on that spot, not the row with the curve on it. Make sure you've got 3 rows of 20 on top of your platform. And it should look exactly like that when you're done. Then come to the end, and that's the end that we have got this curve, and using a block here, come up the height of that magma. Just like that. This is decorative, it is not essential, but I do quite like the way it looks once the farm is finished, so I recommend you do it. Put 3 blocks all the way up like that. And then in the middle, and you know the middle is around about where your redstone is, whichever side you built 11, which is this side, put a block and the redstone, come the other side, put a redstone and a block, and build that up to the same level. Exactly like that. And then build cross struts all the way along next to your magma. So it should look like this. Get yourself up on top of the platform. Scaffolding works very, very well. And you want to surround this magma with a 2 high row of glass blocks. Now, it doesn't have to be glass blocks, but I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit vicious. I like to be able to see the skeletons die in. So if you don't want to use glass and you want to use something like cobblestone, you go for your life. Come back down onto your scaffolding and then increase the height of it to 8 scaffolds. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which gives you 3 above the current level that you've got there. Come up to the top, and this is where you are going to get seriously leafy. Do a jump and put a block of leaves right on there. And then you need to go out in that direction as long as you want your farm to be. Now I'm going to come out another 24, making it 25. The only thing you've got to make absolutely sure is that you have everything within this sold sand biome. Otherwise this will not work. Once that roof is on, come up on the sides with more glass, but don't come to the one underneath the roof. You want that to be leaves again. So place a row of leaves like that, and then extend that row all the way to the very end. Do that on both sides. Come to one of your ends, it doesn't matter which one, and come into the end leaf and go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then come out 1 and put 1 there as well. Get rid of that original, then come out another 9. Total of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You should see that comes level with that leaf there, but not beyond it. That is exactly where you want it to be. Then get yourself a sticky piston and facing the sticky piston into that block there, and then coming around the other side and facing the sticky piston into that block there. You can see the sticky piston is facing into the slime blocks. Then get yourself a temporary block. I'm just going to use a slime block, and bring out 2, delete 1, bring out 2, delete 1, and then get an observer and face an observer so as the redstone bum is facing into that block there. So you want to come in this side and bang. You should see that arrow, if you have got a texture pack with an arrow, faces in there, but the redstone face should be facing right there. You should see it. Do the same on this side. Get rid of that temporary block and then place it so the observer's redstone bum is facing into this block here and its face is facing into that block. Then get an obsidian and put an obsidian on the back of that piston. That will stop that piston from being able to go any further because pistons cannot push obsidian. We then need to repeat this, not with the flying machine, but just with the obsidian on the other end. Now this is the center of this flying machine. You want to come to the other center, if you think this is a 2 center area, and go all the way along here, right to the end of this row. Make sure you get it in the right place. And then when you come to the end of that row, you want to come out 2 and down 1, and that will be the right place for that obsidian. You can test this by removing this temporary block and then removing this temporary block, and the system will go to the other end. Off it goes, and if it stops in the right place with this piston resting on that obsidian, you know you've got it right. And here it comes. It is just about to dock, and there it goes resting against the obsidian, so we are in the right place. Come to the end without the flying machine on it and place a slab on the underside of that obsidian. Come out 2 and then bring it across another 2, so you've got a 2x3 platform there. Bring another one there and a block on top. I'm using warped. You don't have to, you could use whatever block you like. Remove that block there and place a lever underneath. Don't throw the lever, you really don't need to. Then come onto the platform, place one going that way and one going the other way of 2 repeaters, and really importantly, 1 2 3 1 2 3 right clicks on both of them to make them 4 ticks long. Put redstone there, redstone there, redstone there, and redstone there. That will not work unless these are on 4 ticks. I'll show you why we're doing this in just a moment, but this is what's going to cause our flying machine to go backwards and forwards without us having to keep making it happen. Create the same platform at the other end, but don't put this repeater in just yet, because when you do, it's going to send the flying machine the other way, and you want it to stay here for just a moment, because what we want to do is we want to trim up this system. Put leaves along exactly where these slime blocks end, and put a little roof on them as well, just to make it too high. This is going to stop any problems you have with skeletons bumping out of the back. Come across the top, all over the end of these slime blocks as well, around the end, up and along the back of these slime blocks like that. That is going to be a closed system. You then want to make sure you are putting on a piece of carpet on both the obsidian and this block here, because they are spawnable. At that point, you can put your repeater down and make sure you face it in the opposite direction to the other one. Bang, like that. Off goes your flying machine, and make that go off for 4 ticks as well. That will then work when you turn it on. We're going to go up the other end and do exactly the same trick with the leaves. What you can do is lap the leaves over the top of the obsidian block. That will stop it being spawnable in the same way as the carpet. And that's exactly what we've done at both ends now. Come to your central area now and place yourself a solid block all along the top of this glass. I recommend this to be stone or cobblestone or something like that, but you can use any solid block. Use a block that you have a slab version of, because it will just look better. Come along on the other side as well, but before you extend it any further, we're going to put some trap doors in. The trap doors increase the yield of this farm. So we're going to put the trapdoors in all along the edge and flap them down. The reason it increases the yield is because skeletons will now wander in themselves without being swept into the farm on occasion. And it just increases the number of skeletons that can pass through the farm. And an increased number of skeletons means an increased number of bones. And let's face it, the whole point of the farm is to get as much stuff as you possibly can. So that's got to be a good thing. Do it along this side as well. And once you've done that, get the slab version of the solid block that you've used here and come to the end and slab all the way back using a top slab, because you want this to be spawnable, all the way to underneath the leaf row that you have got at the end. You can see it's exactly like that. You do not want it to go beyond the leaf end, because that then becomes a spawnable block. You don't want it to be before the leaf end, because the skeletons might just be able to flop out the end without being collected into the farm. You want to enclose the entire farm now with this spawnable platform. So your platform should look like this, going all the way under the leaves and underneath this area here where you've got the gap that the observer goes into, and under the obsidian. Repeat that at the other end. It's time to set the flying machine off. That will just go on forever and ever and ever now. Come under your platform here to this little lever that we've placed on that block. Check that your repeaters are set to 4 ticks. And this is the end that hasn't got the flying machine, and flick it on and off with the right mouse button. You'll see this is flashing and flashing. That is an update, so that will allow us to have the observer go backwards and forwards. Come to that other end, and in exactly the same way, double click on the right with this lever, and that will send your flying machine off to the other end. However, this time it will fly back again. because what happens is the observer sees this repeater flashing, and that is a block update. Block updates scare observers and they let out a little redstone fart. That redstone fart charges up the blocks and it reverses the way in which the pistons pump out those slime blocks, and it effectively pushes it back in the other direction, and when it hits the other direction again, it comes back again. You can already see the slime blocks are coming back in this direction, and when they hit this platform, they'll go back again. Let's just wait a second and see it happen. The observer is just coming into dock and it sees that flash and back it goes in the other direction. I put some warp stems on each corner of the platform because the anti-gravity element of that big long platform not falling on the floor was just making my teeth itch. But you don't have to do that, it's purely for looks. Get to the short end, the end where you've got rails on the floor, put a minecart with hopper down on that, and that will run that minecart with hopper all along that platform. And that will allow anything that falls onto the magma blocks to be sucked into the minecart with hopper where it goes over the bridge. And these hoppers suck the stuff out, put them into that chest, and then you can collect them. Really easy. Now we're just going to do our AFK spot. Come to the corner of your platform here, place a glass block. Jump on top and tower up to the top level with the leaves. Then jump off again. You're not going to die, don't panic. Get ladders all the way to the top, so you can get onto the roof of your platform. Now, this is a non-spawnable block, so you don't need to do anything like put carpet on it to stop things from spawning. Come to about the middle of your platform. You know you're in the middle when you're in about the middle of your glowing thing that you can just see through your leaves. Place down any block. Doesn't matter what the block is, just place it down. On top of that block, you want to put a scaffold. Exactly like that, so you can jump up onto it and climb up on the scaffold. But then you want to put 99 more scaffolds on. So this scaffold tower is 100 blocks high. Now, it is really easy to lose count when you're putting in that many scaffoldings, so I completely sympathise with that. What you can do is you can bring your F3 screen up, and if you look at that top scaffold, it should say you are looking at the targeted block with a Y value of 238. That is the exact block you want it to be. If it's a couple less or a couple more, it's not going to make a big difference, but make sure you're about 238 on the Y. Now, because there's only a gap of 2 blocks between the spawning platform surface and the leaves at the top, that means that only skeletons can spawn on it. We are selecting for the skeleton's hitbox, which is only 2 blocks. This excludes endermen that need 3 blocks and also ghasts that need 4 blocks. And given that only skeletons, ghasts and endermen will spawn in this biome, that means you're only going to get skeletons in this farm. I've surrounded the top of the platform with a row of glass. That means should the keyboard get nudged or the mouse get knocked, I'm not going to fall to my death. That would be very uncomfortable and would ruin the AFK session. So we're going to do 1 hour of AFK. You'll notice that my difficulty is in peaceful mode at the moment to make it a fair test. I'm going to change this to normal, not hard, normal, because a lot of people play on that setting. And then we're going to go for 1 hour's AFK. Let's see what we get. So while I'm stood up there, let's see what's going on down here. So this platform is exclusively spawning in the skeletons, and that arm is sweeping them into the fiery pit of hell below, where we collect all of their drops underneath using that minecart with hopper. As they hit the end, they get bounced back and around because they can't pass through those leaves, but the slime block sucks them through and bounces them back in the other direction. So that has been exactly 1 hour. Let's get ourselves down and see what we've done. You can go down using the scaffolding. I'm going to go the quick way. You can see the last of those skeletons are getting pushed into the system. I'll just wait for that to finish because really they were generated within that 1 hour period. Okay, so moment of truth. 1 nether roof skeleton only farm. Let's see what we managed to get, shall we? We are opening up our thing. Please have worked. We've got, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very nearly 6 stacks of bones, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very nearly 5 stacks of arrows. 6 stacks of bones, 5 stacks of arrows in 1 hour. So there you have it, one Minecraft 1.16 survival skeleton farm, exclusively spawning in skeletons and absolutely nothing else. Loads of bones, loads of arrows. What more could you want? A few hours AFKing on this and you're going to have all the bones and arrows that you could ever need. If you have enjoyed this video, please do remember to slap that like button. It'd be great to know you enjoy them, and I will keep on making them. Also, if you've not done it already, please do hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to see you in my sub club. I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.